Okay, two announcements before we get started. In NAPS 3, we are going to do several TCP attacks, including SYNC flooding, TCP reset, and TCP hijacking. So NAPS 3 will be posted soon. The TAs are still working on it, so we are going to post it soon. And I got several questions regarding the midterm. So my plan is we're going to have the midterm after we finish all the protocols and the attacks on protocols. So we're kind of behind the schedule. So next we're going to talk about the DNS and DNS attacks. So after that we're going to have the midterm. So we will definitely have the midterm after the fall break. I have not decided when to have it. So I will send you guys a reminder as soon as I decide. So last week, we talked about TCP and TCP attacks. So we demonstrated that using IP spoofing and some valid questions.
I just had a quick question about if there would be any kind of review.
Yes, I plan to provide some guidelines. So we're talking about TCP and the TCP attacks. So with IP spoofing and the successful guessing of a valid sequence number and acknowledgement numbers, an attacker can reset and establish a TCP collection. In addition to that, attackers can also inject data to an established TCP collection. So why this is a very serious problem? Because most protocols, application protocols, they are using TCP. And the most widely communication protocol we are using right now is actually HTTP. So no matter you are using your browser to surf the internet, or you are using your mobile applications, they are all using HTTP. And HTTP is based on TCP. So if we can inject data to your, I think I put this wrong, to your browser or to your application, so we can do a lot of malicious things. First, the attacker can inject just the data, something static, like a web page, but the attacker can also inject code, like JavaScript. So the JavaScript injected by the attackers, they will be executed on your browser or by your apps and on your behalf. So imagine you are using Facebook, either using your browser or using a Facebook app, and some attacker injected some JavaScript. And that JavaScript can post messages on your wall or your friend's wall on your behalf. No one can tell if it's you did that or some malicious JavaScript did that. Or if you are using some banking application, yes?
So how does that work if you have, say, 200 tabs open?
What do you mean?
Well, so would they basically be any web page you're looking at? Or just like?
So basically, the attacker has to, if there's usually one tab, they have a TCP connection, right? HTTP. So the attacker, if he wants to attack that particular tab, he has to inject that particular TCP connection. Yes. So, yeah, if that is a backing application you are using, so if attacker injects some JavaScript, that JavaScript can transfer money on your behalf. So this is a serious problem. So actually, there is one way to defend against this, and we already started this. This is IPsec. So IPsec maintains confidentiality and integrity of IP packets at the network layer. So because it protects the IP packets, it also protects the IP payload, which is your TCP headers and TCP payload. However, this is not the best solution to protect TCP or HTTP. The reason is, assuming we are using transport mode, which builds an end-to-end secure channel between the sender and receiver, this is very expensive, because this is not only to protect one TCP connection. It protects all the communication, IP communications between the sender and the receiver. And all those communications between the sender and the receiver, they share the same security association, which means different applications running on top of an IPsec, they are using the same keys. So what if we use internal mode? So in internal mode, it might not be expensive for the sender and receiver, but it will be expensive for the routers. So imagine this router is the router of your of the destination website. So how many internal mode connections the website router has to maintain? A lot. They receive millions of queries every day. So it is still very expensive, and they do not, like the transport mode, they do not only protect one particular TCP connection. It's not fine-grained. And also, if we are using internal mode, it's still vulnerable to TCP hijacking. If the attackers, they sit in the same local network as the sender, or they sit in the same local network as the receiver, still they can do this TCP hijacking or TCP reset, because this part is transparent to them, and the local network is not protected by the IPsec. That's why we need something new. We need something more fine-grained, less expensive, and we have a secure socket layer or transport layer security. Basically, they are the same thing. I will explain the history of it later. So we haven't talked about the concept of sockets. So basically, in simplicity, you can consider socket. A socket is a combination of IP address and port number. So if you are also taking network class, right now you may be using socket program. So SSL or TSL, they operate on a reliable transport layer protocol, such as TCP. So it is on top of TCP. So this is widely used. It's a real-world security protocol. All your browsers support this protocol. Even though this protocol can be used to protect all the TCP connections. So usually it is widely used to protect HTTP, because right now the browsers, mobile apps, they are all using HTTP. So when we say HTTP, it's not really a particular protocol. It simply is HTTP over TLS. That's why in LAMP2, one of the tasks is to find the HTTP messages, HTTPS messages. But if you search HTTPS in Wireshark, you do not really get anything. But if you search TLS or SSL, you can get the HTTPS message. So all the browsers support HTTPS. Usually, if you want to use HTTPS, you will put the HTTPS as the scheme instead of HTTP. And usually the browser will show a green bar and a lock to give you this psychological feeling that you are building a trusted and a secure communication with your web server. So HTTPS usually use its own port number 443 instead of the default port number 80 for HTTP. And HTTPS will use a certificate to check the identity of the server. So technically, this can be two-way authentication. The server can also check the identity of the user, and the user can also check the identity of the server. But in reality, because the servers, they want to accept as many requests as possible. They do not want to verify the identity of the users, but only the users will verify the identity of the server to stop all kinds of phishing attack. So to check the identity, they have to use certificate. So if you remember, certificate is basically an association of the public key of the server and the identity of the server. And a certificate is signed by some authority called certificate authority. So in order to use HTTPS, we need to have some kind of a public key infrastructure. So the client side, your browser, your mobile apps can verify the relationship between the certificate and the owner of the certificate. And also, they will use the public key infrastructure to generate, sign, and administrate all the certificates.
That last slide, what's HTTP over SSL, HTTP over TLS? Is just
so they are the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah, they are the same thing. Basically, different ways to say it. So there are many certificate authorities in the world. So basically, the market share for this certificate CA for websites, you can see in this figure. So the biggest company for that is called Komodo, and they have like 40% of this market share. And maybe you guys are familiar with GoDaddy because its headquarters is in Scottsdale. So GoDaddy is the largest domain name registrar and also web hosting company, I guess. I'm not sure if they are the biggest web hosting company, but they are the biggest domain name registrar. So they have like 10% market share of all those CA. So if you want to build a website and you want to offer HTTPS service, you need to get your certificate signed by those companies. So like we discussed before, if you visit HTTPS, the browser will show green mark here and also show HTTPS in green. But if you look into it, you will find that it says this is a secure TLS connection. So HTTPS is not really, technically it's not a protocol. It's not, yeah. So because this SSL or TLS is built on top of TCP, and it provides service for the applications. Its location in the internet model is below the application layer and above the TCP layer. So this protocol already has some history actually. So it was first proposed by Netscape in 1994. Very, very old. This is the first version. So the first version was not publicly available. So I'm not sure if you still know the company Netscape. It's still there. But so if you know the internet history, you may know that this company actually, they made a lot of contributions to internet and the web. However, it's still there. It's a small company with like maybe 3,000 employees right now. So they had very small company. So in the 1990s, they were dominating the browser market. So then Microsoft decided to put Internet Explorer in all the Windows systems. Then gradually they took over the market share of browsers. So in 1994, Netscape, they published the second version of SSL. So the first version was not really available. We don't know what it is. But the second version still, they are using a lot of weak crypto algorithms. The keys are very short, and the way they exchange keys is also breached. So this version was not secure. Then in 1996, 20 years ago, they designed the third version of SSL. And this version was very successful. So 3 years later, the Internet Standard Group, they decide to standardize this network layer security based on SSL 3.0. So that's like more than 15 years ago. So even now, we are still using TLS 1.2. So it's not much change since then. I think right now they're discussing TLS 1.3. It may be released next year, 2017. So the goal of TLS is to provide security and also compression service to data generated from the application layer. And the security here, we mean confidentiality, integrity, and authenticity. So in TLS, there is a concept called session. So one session may be across multiple TCP connections. So basically, a session is an association of the algorithms that agreed on, the shared secrets, basically the shared crypto key for crypto algorithms, and how they want to perform authentication. So we started IPsec, so you get the basic idea how to use crypto to protect network communications. So basically, we want to encrypt the network communications using symmetric key crypto, which means the two parties communicating two parties, they have to share a secret key. So to share that secret key, they need to use Diffie-Hellman, or they can use public key system to share that. So basically, one party can encrypt the shared key with the other party's public key, then send that over to the other party, and the other party will decrypt that, use its own private key. This is how they can share this secret key. Then all the future communications will be encrypted in using this secret key. So IPsec was doing that, and the TLS is doing the same thing. But the concept of a session in TLS is new. So why this concept of session is different from the TCP concept of collection? So basically, in TCP collection, it's a peer-to-peer relationship. So there is no clear who is a client, who is a server, even though there is an initiator who sends the same package first. But as long as the collection is established, they are peers. And one TCP collection usually is only associated with one TLS session. However, one TLS session can be used across multiple TCP collections. So a session can be identified using a session ID in the TLS header. So the reason to do that is because negotiation of the security parameters, including changing the keys, is very expensive. So if my browser is talking with a web server using HTTPS, and we already have a session ID, we already negotiate the secret key, and somehow my browser lost the connection, but later I can still connect to the same web server using the previous security parameters we negotiated before. So we don't have to negotiate again. So this is the main purpose of the introduction of a session. So the session defines other crypto parameters, and also in a session, there is a clear client and a clear server. This is created by the Handshake Protocol we will discuss later. So the Handshake Protocol in TLS is very similar to the Internet Key Exchange Protocol we discussed in IPsec. So in order to resume a previous TLS session, we need to identify that session, use some kind of a session ID. So in this TLS architecture, we have actually 4 protocols. So we have a record protocol, which will use secret key established in the handshake protocol to protect communications between the client and server. And we have the handshake protocol, it's the key exchange protocol, and we have change Cipher specs protocol to change the security parameters if they want. And also we have an alert protocol to just exchange some error messages between client and the server. So we are not going to talk about those two. We will focus on the handshake protocol, which is very similar to the internet key exchange protocol. So the handshake protocol, it is used to negotiate the Cipher suite algorithms. It will decide what symmetric cipher we're going to use. We're going to use DES or AES. What kind of a key exchange method we're going to use. We can use Diffie-Hellman. We can also use other public key like RSA. And also discuss what kind of a MAC algorithm we are going to use. We can use MD5 or SHA-1. After that, it will also establish the shared master key using this key exchange method, like I just discussed. So also, it can optionally authenticate the server and the client. So basically, in our existing HTTPS, we are just authenticating the server. We are not authenticating the client. But the protocol, the TLS protocol, can support authentication in both ways. So in the handshake protocol, we have 4 phases. First, the client will send a message to the server saying that I want to establish secure transport layers channel with you, and the server will send its certificate and also some key exchange and other security parameters. Then the client will use that certificate to verify if this server is really a legit server. It's not a phishing website. And it can also send its own certificate for the server to authenticate it. And then they finalize the handshake protocol and start encrypted communication. So this is the detail of how it works. First, the client side, like your browser, will send out a message like ClientHello message. And in this ClientHello message, the client side will offer a Cipher suite menu to the server. So basically, the client wants to say, these are the crypto algorithms implemented in my machine. And you can choose which algorithm you want to use for the future communication. And the server receives this message and will send back a server hello message by selecting the algorithms the server wants to use, and also the server's certificate to verify for the client to verify if the server is valid. So basically, they're going to exchange the certificate and the keys, and after everything is done, they can start using symmetric encryption for future secure communication. So this is very similar to IPsec. So here is I captured some data. So this is my laptop, and this is a web server. We want to establish a HTTPS collection. So what should be the first message of this collection? What?
ClientHello.
ClientHello, yeah, but ClientHello is part of TLS. But TLS is based on TCP. So the first message is a regular TCP SYN packet, and then the server returns a SYN ACK, and later my laptop sends another ACK, so they finished the TCP collection establishment. Then they can start their TCP payload, the application protocol. And in this scenario, the application protocol is a TLS. So the first message my laptop sends is client hello message. And in this client hello message, we can say my browser supports 17 different compilations of crypto algorithms, the Cipher suite. So basically, the Cipher suite is a combination of key exchange, hash, and encryption algorithms. So for example, SSL RSA with MD5 means my client, my browser, support to use RSA to exchange keys. And this one is specifying I can support RSA4 128 bits as a symmetric key algorithm for encryption. And my browser can support MD5 or SHA-1 as a hash algorithm to do hashMAC, to do message code authentication. So this is just a list of all the Cipher suites my browser can support. Then later, the server, when they send out a server hello message, they will choose from those algorithms suites which one the server wants to use for the following communications. So usually, the server is supposed to choose the most secure one from this list. But of course, the server has to support that suite itself. So we talked about the Handshake Protocol and the SSL or TLS Record Protocol is the underlying protocol in the TLS to send the messages out. So basically, if we have the application data, could be your web page, and this application data is first fragmented into several segments. Then TLS, like we discussed before, they will also compress this. It's optional. They can compress those fragments to make them a little bit smaller. Then they will add a MAC using the hash algorithm to add a MAC. Then they will encrypt the whole thing with a symmetric key crypto. Append another TLS header in front of the application data. Then give this to the TCP layer, and the TCP will append another TCP header in front of this. So TLS is still kind of expensive. Usually it's 2 or 10 times slower than the original TCP collection. So there are several reasons why it's slow. Basically, the client and server, they can use public key encryption to exchange the secret key. And that public key encryption, no matter it's on the client side or the server side, it's relatively slow for encryption. Usually, even though they are encrypting a very small message, just maybe 20 bytes, still kind of slow. And if the user send out something to the server to negotiate the key, and the server has to decrypt that, and the server has to wait for that. So that is where we lose some time. And also the data transfer phase, we are using symmetric key to encrypt this, even though symmetric key is relatively faster than asymmetric key crypto, but still it's slower than the original plain text TCP.
So the handshake is asymmetric?
The handshake, you mean the key exchange?
Yeah.
They can use TCP or they can use RSA.
RSA would be asymmetric.
Yes.
If you would.
So basically, yeah. So if they want to use RSA, basically it is the one side where generates some random key, then encrypt that with the other side public key. So the other side can only the other side can encrypt that. So how do they get the public key is from the certificate. So that's why there are a lot of hardware-assisted methods to speed up this kind of process. So recently, Intel, they released a technology called Intel Quick Assist technology. So using this hardware features, we can speed up the encryption, decryption, either symmetric or asymmetric key crypto. So like all the security systems we discussed so far, so TLS is not perfect. There are ways to breach it. There are ways to bypass it. So in 2009, a hacker, he released in Black Hat that a tool called SSL stripping tool. So basically, the tool wants to reroute encrypted HTTP request to plain text HTTP request. So basically strip off the SSL layer. So in this attack, the TLS or SSL is not really breached, but the attacker find a way to bypass it. So I will show how it works. So this attack, the hacker, he find out that when users use the browser to visit some website, usually they are lazy. They're not going to type HTTPS 3w.example.com. They will only type 3w.example.com. But the websites they are using, they may only offer HTTPS. So the website, the admins, they are smart. They only offer HTTPS. But they do not want to lose the collection, the HTTP collection. So what they will do is they will set up another web server on the port 80 using HTTP. So when this user types 3w.example.com, it will send a HTTP GET message to the unencrypted website version. Then this website will just reply error code saying that you are supposed to redirect to the secure version of this website. And this is transparent to the user. The browser will automatically redirect to the secure version of the website, and the user doesn't really need to do anything. So the browser will establish a secure HTTPS session with the secure version of the website. Then the user can log in the website using her credentials. However, this hacker finds out that if there is an attacker man in the middle, what the attacker can do is the browser, all the messages sent from the browser to the original website will be hijacked by the attacker. This is possible. We learned this before. How to do this? Any idea? How can we sit in front of the browser and the website?
On the same data group?
Yes, we can on the same local network using what?
If you're on like a backbone node, you're already there. But if you're on a local network, you can just tell every host that you're the router.
Yes. So basically, you do up spoofing and telling every host in the local network you are the router. So they will forward all their packets to you. So HTTP, the plain text HTTP GET will send to the attacker, and the attacker will forward this to the unsecure version of the website. And if that website returns, you should redirect. Then the attacker will build a secure channel with the secure version of the website on behalf of the browser. Then after the attacker gets the message from the website, it will decrypt this message, forward this message back to the browser using HTTP. So this side of the browser, they never realize that I'm talking to a HTTPS version of the website. He thought I'm still talking with a HTTP version of the website, which doesn't exist actually. Then the users will input all his or her credentials, and attackers can get that and log in to the secure version of the website. So to do that, the attacker also needs to do up-spoofing. So this is actually different from the TCP connection, because here we have two TCP, separated TCP connections. One is between the browser and the attacker, another is between the attacker and the secure website. There are two different TCP connections. So the attacker in this scenario acts kind of like a proxy. So this is very easy to pull off using the tool provided by the hacker. So you should be familiar with those commands because we used most of them in the first lab. So basically, you first set your own attack machine. You enable the IP forwarding on your own attack machine. Then you set up the IP tables to forward all those packets. The destination port number is 80 to your own port 10,000. Then you run your SSLStrip tool on this port 10,000. So all the outgoing TCP segments with port number destination port number 80 will be forwarded to your application SSLStrip, and this application will intercept the packet, change the packet, decrypt that, forward the decrypted to the original user, and also establish collections with the web server. And also you need to do up spoofing to tell all the machines in your local network that you are the router. They are supposed to send all the packets to you. So this is a screenshot he used in the 2009 Black Hat. So basically, this is the original Gmail webpage. So we can see that it's using HTTPS, and after stripping, so it will be HTTP. But the users, they don't really know that. They may think there is a HTTP version of that website, but actually there is not. So in order to give users some psychological relief that you are talking to a trusted website, the hacker did something more actually. So we can say that there is a logo. Usually when you visit a website, the website will send you a logo. And the attacker actually changed that logo to a lock. So he was trying to mislead the users that it's not indicated this is a trusted connection. Actually, it's not. So that is how the SSL stripping works. We don't have a lab for that actually. But if you are interested, there are a lot of resources online you can get. You can easily do this. Okay, that's all we have for today.
Yeah, I get confused. So, what do we use the key for then?
Which one?
So, like you said, okay, you do the key. So, what do I need the key exchange, like the RSA stuff? What do I use that key for?
Because all the encryption afterwards, we are going to use symmetric key.
Okay.
So how do you get the symmetric key there? You have to use DH or RSA.
And then what do I do with the message digest?
Message digest for integrity check.
Okay.
Like the IP check.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah.
So when's the exam?
I have not decided yet.
Okay.
I will decide this week. And
Okay, but it's not on Friday.
It's not on Friday. It will be definitely after fall break.
Okay, thank you.
So nowadays, browsers can tell if it sends an HTTPS request and it's getting back plain text, and
So-
it will alert the user.
So in this case, is the browser was sending a HTTP, not HTTPS. If they are
Because they're redirects.
yes, because redirect. So this is a lot of factors are involved in this attack. First, the user is not aware of what is going. You know, they don't know how to use. They don't even care the difference between HTTPS and HTTP, right?
Yeah.
But if the browser is sending a HTTPS but getting HTTP, that is definitely something
Then it
wrong.
can know.
Yes.
So nowadays, like, are a lot of the defenses against this, are they happening in the browser?
Yes, a lot of.
That's the only
So
place
first,
I've
there is a
heard that.
protocol that force using HTTPS. So
Okay.
the browser side force using HTTPS.
Like
in
it
this-
tries that first.
Yes, because here it's more like the
redirect.
browser is like using HTTP, right?
Right.
And another thing is a lot of visual clues were given to the
Yeah.
users because this
Turns
is
red and everything.
yeah, this is kind of a user's responsibility.
Right. Yeah.
But like all the other security issues,
Right.
the users they don't know.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, when are we gonna have the midterm? Is it gonna be on the week of the fall break or the week after?
Midterm or
Yeah. 'Cause it's not on this Friday, right? Is
not
it gonna
on this
be-
Friday.
Is that gonna be the week of fall break or the week after it?
The midterm will be after the fall break, and I will release some
Yeah,
guideline.
because
Mhm.
I think we're gonna come back after the fall break on Wednesday, right?
Mhm.
So we have class on Wednesday, we have class on Friday.
Mhm.
Are we gonna have the midterms on either of those classes or the
Maybe
week
not.
after?
Maybe a week after.
Okay,
Maybe.
because if it's not on the first 2 days, then I might travel.
Oh,
If it's
okay.
on the
Okay,
first
I gave a makeup exam for midterm and finals. So,
Sorry?
you said you might be traveling, right?
Yeah.
So I will give makeup exams for midterm and final.
Mhm.
Yes.
So if I don't want to take it like on the day, can I take it later?